And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the Network Marketing Leadership Show, and we have got a great show for you today. It is going to be fun. We've got the one and only Brad Hager here, and this guy is a rock star of epic proportion. I just got off the phone coming in with Robert White, who is an unbelievable friend of Brad's, an unbelievable fan of Brad and his wife. And the entire time in the car, all he could do was talk about how much he loved this guy and what he's done for the world, and the fact that he might be the most unbelievable personal brander, image making machine on the planet. So Brad, how are you doing, man?
Hey, Tom. Well, man, I appreciate those kind words, and man, say hello to my good friend Robert there. And he's an awesome gentleman, as you know. I know you guys have been friends probably longer than we have. So thank you. But no, been great. We just got back a couple of days ago, 10 days in Hawaii. So well rested. Did a little fishing, got a little sun. So ready to get back at it. So.
Was it a business trip, or did you go with family and your wife, or what happened?
Yeah, we took 8 of us over, rented a big home over there on the Big Island, and did a couple of days of fishing. Caught some 5 really nice fish, and it was just a great fun trip. Mostly 99% pleasure, a little bit of business here and there, as you know, anytime. But it was definitely for the purpose of just taking some friends and family over and having some fun.
Was it impossibly expensive and crowded, or reasonable and not so crowded?
It was very expensive, as Hawaii normally is, but now during the pandemic is even more, with inflation starting and some of that, trying to find workers. So it was definitely expensive, not crowded, not really. I mean, so it was, fairly reasonable as far as the crowd. So, but a good time. So, yeah.
So Brad, Clubhouse. I walked in there about the same time you did. You have owned, like everything that you do, you go after things with a vengeance. And I've watched you completely expand your brand over tenfold over me. And I'm not bad at what I do. You are a machine. How do you do that? You've been doing it your whole career.
Well, when I get focused on something, and just get that focus and, put a lot of time into it, as you know, and I tell people it takes about 5 things to build that brand over there, but it does it pretty much in everything. You got to put the time into it. You don't, without just, you just don't put a little time, and you have to be consistent with your time. So put some time into it. You got to bring value, right? Value and engagement, which is what you do are so great at, Tom. You just put so much value to what you do, and these shows you do is just incredible. Collaboration, which, again, I'm talking about you. You put time into it. You give value to the audience. You collaborate with other people. So collaboration on Clubhouse is, very important. Working with other people in their rooms, and appreciation. Would be the 4th thing I would say. And you got to appreciate those who work with you, those who help you build, and who you collaborate with, and those who you share the stage with. And then, the final thing was positioning. Position yourself, at the front of the class, and getting in the rooms early, and position yourself on stage. The same things that we all do here is what we did over there, and what I did over there. The final thing I'll say is, for me personally, outside of those 5 things that it takes to really grow and grow fast, is the same principles I've used, in building network marketing. All through my career, when I walked into a company to start a company, if I was going to move into a company, I would always want to know who's the top income earner, who's the top 3, top 5 income earners, because it would give me somebody to chase. A lot of people get it wrong, Tom. They go into a company and say, well, what's the average person make? Well, I don't know about you. I'm not joining the company to be average, right? I didn't sign up to come home and tell my wife, hey, babe, I just saw a great presentation to learn how to be average, right? No. So I want to know who the top is, and I chase people like that. So, when I got involved, some of the people that we know, Tom Challen, various people were, more people that had more followers than I did. So I would chase them and work so hard, and I wanted to catch them. And then once I caught that person, who's next? And I'd set my sights, and I'd chase somebody else, right? And then I would chase, and that's what I've done in network marketing. I want to know who's the top, and I'd knock them off. I'd work as hard as I could, as smart as I could, and just put the time and all the things I mentioned in, and knock one off. Then I'd go to the next. As long as having somebody to chase, and to, and again, it's not about them, it's about me, rising rise. So that's kind of what I did there. I used the same methodology, and have a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Well, here's what I've seen, because I have been like watching you, and we all started out in the first time I ever heard Eric Worre was in the America West Auditorium in Phoenix. There were 14,000 people in the crowd.
I was there.
I was at the top of the bleachers.
I was too.
And I looked down on him and I said, one of these days.
Yep.
And I finally got there. And Clubhouse reminds me of that a lot, because I'm sitting out here in the cheap seats and I'm watching Brad Hager, and I watch him and Haley Hobson. She's another one you just got to chase because she's a nut. And so she's just doing the same thing. She's always in there. She's always working it. And you've just seen her elevate. So I'm in a room the other day. There's JTT Fox. There's Grant Cardone. These guys are talking about giant money. They're talking about collaboration at a level that you would not believe. And right in the thick of things is Brad. And he has taken his influence in network marketing and leapfrogged everybody to be rubbing shoulders with people I cannot believe at a level I can't believe. It worked out for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it has. The contacts that have been made, it would take me 10, 15 years probably to make those kind of contacts. It would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars because I'd have to fly all around the world. Because, Tom, this is worldwide. I mean, lots of people from Australia or UK or Europe that we've met through there from just, getting here on a phone and going to work, so to speak, where it would have took me hours to fly. I mean, it'd probably be impossible outside of that to meet all those people and create the contacts that we have. And so, it's been well worth it for sure. So putting the time into it, like it is most things, if you'll be serious about it and work at it with intention and purpose.
And the name of the game. And I think I'm pretty good at giving more than I get in all areas of my life. And I think when I watch you there, that's what you're doing. Everything you're doing is contribution, contribution, contribution. Obviously, you've built some mousetraps to have people catch it, find you and follow you. And at that point, you can start some conversation with them. But when I watch you, you are giving back. You are not taking. You're not one of those stage suckers and energy suckers or attention grabbers on the stage. You're constantly making other people look better, which elevates you, right, Brad?
Yeah, and that's what we do here. Because look, here's the thing. What I learned there when I talked about the collaboration earlier is learning that, I couldn't carry the whole room for hours on my own. So I would set the rooms up and start learning and sharing stages with others. And then when I started doing my own, I would bring in people that, put a good stage together. And I would just kind of, it's like in football. In football, it's like leadership, right? The quarterback's job in a football team is not to run the ball every time. The quarterback is decide who to get the ball to, right? Maybe you're going to pass, maybe your RPO, maybe hand it to the fullback, whatever. And that's kind of what, when you set that stage up, you collaborate by passing off into other people. And of course, loads of appreciation to those people for thanks, for edification, for being there and helping you out. So it is a team effort. I don't know anybody that's built a great clubhouse following or rooms that hasn't collaborated and worked as a team and have a team around them. That, and of course, here's the funny thing, or interesting thing, I should say, Tom, is many of the people on the stage or the teams, none of us knew before we got on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
4 months, 5 months ago, we didn't know each other, right? And we started working rooms together and collaborating, and all of a sudden now, I've got people I talk to pretty much every day on the phone or text or whatever. Some of these are 100 millionaires and people like that I didn't even know before, right? Or had not any access to. So, technology has made our world a much smaller and a much more intimate place for sure.
Now, where do you see Clubhouse going down the road? You think it's something for a long time, or is it just a flash in the pan?
It's going to be interesting because, Facebook is going to bring out their program that's it looks like it's probably going to be better. I don't know until they get it out. And I think obviously Facebook's got $50 billion in the bank and plenty of money to put at it. They've already got the largest network out there. I could see a lot of people shifting off to that because it's just a convenience and add on to what they have. It's nice having it as a standalone, but at the same time, if you can all of a sudden just include your network and even bigger reach. It's going to be interesting to see, but I like the, I think it's gone from video from TikTok and Instagram, and there's still a lot of that. But I think it shows that how much of us want to communicate and talk without, hey, I can have stains on my shirt or no shirt on at all, right, and get on Clubhouse and have a bad hair day or whatever, and talk and still add value at all hours of the day or night, or be driving down the road. And I think there's a place for that. I think there's a need for that. That old fashioned stuff like you and I can't believe you were in that same arena. I was, that was probably 28 years ago. I was there, 14, 15,000 American West Arena, Eric and Jeff and those guys on the stage. I know. Mm-hmm. I can't believe we may have been sat beside of each other, not knowing it at the time, right?
Top. I'll tell you,
I was a little fish at that time.
Yeah.
That was my first one.
Yeah, New Skin. I was in New Skin, and it was I could not believe the money those people on the stage were making, and they were all 25 feet tall. And Eric Worre's best speech he ever gave is on the internet from America West Arena, and he gave it there. Here's the deal. I am a grinder. I have always been. I'm a relationship guy. I'm a telephone guy. I'm a text guy. I am a rememberer of epic proportion, which is absolutely conducive to Clubhouse. I'm thrilled what you said about it being great, but even Facebook might come with something better because they're going to be in the same genre. And I don't have to be a Martian to be able to do it. I don't have to be the TikTok maniac or this or that or the other thing. I get to be Tom Chenault, just like you get to be Brad.
That's it.
Really, and your wife, a network marketer of epic performance too. Yeah, this is our wheelhouse. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, when you ask me how it's my wheelhouse. It's what I love. I love mentoring, teaching, training people, but I don't want to have to get dressed up, and I don't want to do 15-second video. Look, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to build the business that way or go make fortunes, and there are people making a lot more money I have than on Instagram and video and YouTube and all, but if it's not your wheelhouse, like you said, we're more old school. We grew up on the phone. That's all. There was no internet when we started back when we're talking about 28 years ago, right? And so, no, but what I like about it, anybody can do it. I mean, some people may not be camera ready, but they can certainly have a, what do you call it? A face for radio.
That's a meme, yeah.
So, yeah, no, I love it. I think it's here to stay. Now, which platform? I think obviously I see a number of improvements that can be made, and frankly should have already been made to Clubhouse. They're simple, but then when you got something so big, maybe they're not as easy to change. But I think that Facebook will probably improve a few of those things and possibly give us even a better platform. And I would love, I get 60,000 people or so on something like that on Clubhouse, but I would love to take that and merge it or put it over to my already existing Facebook reach. So.
I have a feeling you would. We're going to take a break. It's Tom Chenault. It's Brad Hager. Adrian Chenault isn't in Hawaii. He's in Steamboat Springs, but we're holding up and making it happen without him. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. It's the contact mapping commercial segment. And, Brad, Clubhouse is great, but it does you no good if you don't take those relationships that you're listening to and interacting with on Clubhouse and get them off of Clubhouse and into your database. Am I right or am I wrong?
Absolutely. That's one of the things I teach you. You've probably heard me say on Clubhouse is, look, you've got to get these people from Clubhouse to followers. The follower is worthless, right? Outside of just kind of building some credibility, but somehow you got to get them from the following to your database, your phone, and be able to work with them and put them through process.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. So you've got these people that you meet on Clubhouse. It's the most amazing thing you've ever heard because Brad is not scripted. Every time you see him in Vegas at his mansion or on the stage with 5,000 people, he's looking at a teleprompter talking out of his ass on something on a slide. But on Clubhouse, it's a whole different ballgame. He's coming straight from his heart to his mouth without his brain. And he's saying all kinds of crazy stuff that's not on a slide, on social media, on any profile anywhere that is absolutely gold. And if you people would just learn to document what he's saying there, that's not anywhere else, and then see Brad go out to Vegas, say, you know, I heard you've got the most unbelievable home in Vegas. It is everybody's dream. I've seen, you know, 5 minute, at least 5 people have sent me aerial views of Brad's house. I swear to God, because it's so spectacular. I need more vodka. More vodka. So the name of the game is, all of a sudden, you know, Brad's house is not on Facebook. Did you see him light up right then when I talked about his tennis courts, about his landscaping, about his swimming pool, about the size of that crib and the acreage around it? It lit him up because it's one of his favorite things. His son that he went fishing with and caught 5 fish in Hawaii is something not on all those things, but it's something memorable to him. When I talk to him in a year, and I'm going to say, we were on the radio together. Remember that day you just come home from catching those 5 fish with your son and those other 7 people. He swallows his cigar. He cannot believe I remembered that. And that's all it's about. And everybody, you are the king of the phone. You are the king of getting back with people. But the word follow-up is the wrong word. The word is remember. I am the best rememberer out there. I don't follow you up. Brad doesn't want to be followed up by Tom Chenault. He wants to be remembered by Tom Chenault for something wonderful about him, which is his favorite subject. And Tom Chenault wants to be remembered by Brad Hager. You can, I'm sure, remember 4 years ago when I called you when you were with that other Las Vegas-based company just to see what was going on with your life, how you were doing. You told me about the ups and downs, and then you told me no matter what, I'm going to keep the flag up and keep this thing going. Do you remember that conversation?
Just vaguely there.
You so don't remember.
I don't. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember when that was and what. Yeah. So
it was our buddy RW, and it was right when Brian McMullen had gotten a little bit involved with the capitalization, and I talked to you right on that point. And I wrote it all down, and it's all tied together. That's what's so cool. So we got to get back to the show. I am telling you, remember everything. You can just see it right there. It happened. Yep. So what was I going to tell you? We're done with the commercial. We're back. And welcome back, everybody. It is the Network Marketing Leadership Show. It is Tom Chenault and Brad Hager. Adrian's not here. As a result, this show is a mess. I've missed 2 breaks so far, and it's just horrible because Adrian does, you know, if I don't do something, he kicks me or stabs me with a pen or something to keep me on point because I get so obsessed and enthralled with the guest that I can't even believe it. And with Brad, it's a whole new ball game. So today, do you know who Harvey McKay is, Brad?
I do. Yep.
Swim with the Sharks. Written 14 books. 3 of them are on the all-time bestseller list. So Ivan Misner was on the show last week, and he was great. And as a result, I promised him I would get him back in touch with Harvey, and I forgot about it. And I'll be damned if I didn't send him a text and say, call me right back. And Harvey called back like 4 seconds later. He goes, what's going on, Tom? I go, not much, Harvey. He says, what do you have for me? What do I need? What's our deal? I go, I really don't have anything for you, Harvey. You're supposed to call Ivan Misner. He goes, okay, what's he want? I go, I have no idea. You got to call him and find out. Well, he didn't tell you? No. Is it going to be important? I think so. But the point is, people like Brad and Harvey McKay and Ivan Misner vibrate at such a level you wouldn't believe, but it's all the same thing. Trust, integrity, communication, and collaboration. That's how you've got where you are, sir, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, you mentioned, I do a little talk sometimes on a study that was done years ago. You know, it's called the Leadership Show, right? And, you know, people want to be a better leader, but sometimes they don't ask themselves, what do followers want, right? There's 2 parts of the leadership equation. There's leaders and there's followers. And what about followership, right? What do they want? And you just mentioned the millions of dollars spent on this study and research to find out what are the things that a follower wants that's going to make someone follow me, follow you. And that's even in the sales process, folks, trying to recruit, let alone trying to move people along in network marketing, right? To get people to follow you and to go to work. The number 1 thing on the list is trust. Can I trust you? Do I trust you? And you mentioned that just then. And it's guys, like people have to be able to trust you. They got to trust that you're good for your word. And look, by the way, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about just, can I trust you? You're not going to lie or steal from me, but can I trust in you and count on you? Are you going to be there for me? Are you going to do what you said you're going to do? Are you going to help me? Are you going to support me? So great point, because you are correct, Tom. Collaboration, trust. Is huge. Competence, number two, on what followers want. They want somebody they can trust. They want somebody that is competent and knows their stuff, whether it be about their products or about about building the business or the comp plan. And I'll give you number three and number four real quick, because these are the top four that really can you check yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How am I doing on these four things? And trust. Can they trust me? Can they believe what I'll say? Or do they believe I'm competent? Am I competent on a scale of 1 to 10? Vision. They're looking at what followers want is someone who has a vision. No one wants to follow somebody that's not going anywhere. So do you have a vision for yourself, for your team, for them? Are they part of your vision? And then the final, number four, the top four that followers are looking for is inspiration. Is the person I'm following inspiration? And you have a vision. Inspiration is being able to effectively communicate the vision with emotion to move people into action. So, man, that's good stuff based on, again, the title of this, the Network Marketing Leadership Show. It's nice to know as a leader what's going to cause people to follow us.
Okay, so how do people find you?
The best way to do it, they can either find me on Facebook. If you're watching that way, you can just add me there. Brad at Hager Marketing. I still use that. That's about my personal address versus the corporate address. But Brad at Hager, Hager, marketing.com is an email address that they can find me. Of course, Instagram, Brad Hager, MOM. Is the Instagram there. So, but any of those ways are great to find me that way.
So here's the deal. Look at his demeanor. I mean, I am spitting all over the camera. I am a train wreck here. And here's Brad. Measured, training, completely in control of his space. And I've done okay. I can't tie his shoes. But the point I make to all of you is there's so many ways to get there from here. Find your best self. And we're probably on each end of the spectrum. And, I got to have a little bit of Brad in me, and Brad's got to have a little bit of me and him. But the point I try to make all of you is, if you just can look inside and stay deep with people like Brad and follow his example of grinding it out every day and working hard, being good to your word, everything changes for the better. And that's what I want for you, is to do that. So after we get done with the break here, which is a pretty long break, we've got to pay the people on Genesis Communication Network. They've kept us aboard for about 12 years for absolutely no money and no reason. It's a terrible show. I love Ted Anderson so much for doing it, and I can never tell him thank you enough. And after how bad I've screwed this up this week, we probably won't even be on next week with Susan Wheeler. But I'm coming back right after this. Marianne, how am I doing? Pretty good? This is terrible. So
you're doing awesome.
Yeah, this is fun. And do you understand the commercials? Everybody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
So this show goes on Facebook here, and then it goes to the podcast. Then on Saturday, the commercials, which we're in right now, get stripped out, and it goes on to Genesis Communication Network. They've got 550 radio stations all over the world. It gets done there. So it's a blowtorch. So during these commercials, you can cuss, you can take a leak, you can just literally do anything that you want. And Adrian and I usually do the commercials, and they're actually decent. But with me, we never know what we're going to get because it doesn't matter. Here's the deal. contactmapping.com/free. I want you to go there, and I want you to understand that a guy like Brad Hager, his most valuable asset is his contact list. Yep. Tom Chenault is his contact list. I just got off the phone with Richard Brook. He said he would be 100 times richer if he had just been contact mapping, documenting, and remember, ask all his life. We've all tried it all. We tried ACT, we tried Goldmine, we tried the Dewey Decimal System, we tried Excel spreadsheets, we've tried yellow stickies, we've tried everything but something that works. all our life, haven't we, Brad?
Yeah, guys, go download this. It is amazing. I mean, again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And what Tom's talking about is you talk to me, you talk to Tom, you talk to someone, and sometimes they're not going to say yes right now. It's going to be 3 months, 3 years, whatever it's going to be. And for you to be able to take those notes and say, remember when we talked last, or how's your son? And when I talked to you last, he was 8, now he's 9, or whatever the case may be, guys. I mean, that kind of stuff is invaluable. Again, back to showing trust, care, and that's what's going to cause people to do business with you. And this is what this program, this contactmapping.com is all about. So make sure you go download it. I've got it. You should have it as well.
And it's only going to change your life. And all I want to do is, and I don't even care if you use the app as much as you use the application, because people are sick of being followed up on. They're sick of being prospects. If I get one more person on Instagram from Clubhouse that says, I really want to talk to you, Tom, I will mentor you personally. Just send me a note on Instagram. Next thing I know, I get a bot. I finally get through the damn bot. After I get done with the bot, I send another message to the guy that says, hey, it's Tom Chenault. I cleared through your bot. Now what do we do? I'll get back to you, Tom. You're really important. Never hear from them again, because they have no idea of the concept of integrity and communication, which Brad Hager has mastered. And it is the most important thing. If you say you're going to do something, by God, do it. And if you have to, when Eric Worre pulled me up on the stage a couple of weeks ago in front of 172,000 women, and I took my pants off and I had my boxer shorts on, Instagram blew up, as you would imagine, with people just sending me private messages that I was a lunatic. They didn't go to a bot. They got a personal message from me saying, thanks. It was the only way I could get anybody to pay attention to me, because I'm old, I'm a man, there was no hope. So I had to do something that was going to jolt into their subconscious. I caught the fish, but everybody else would have just let them go. I responded to every one of those people with my heart. That's what Brad does, right, Brad?
Absolutely, guys. Respond to them. Don't. I mean, again, you hear it all the time, the fortunes in the follow-up, but you're right, Tom, the fortunes in the follow-up, and remembering what you had the conversations with about. So make sure you're using this contact managing, contact. I don't know why I keep saying it, because we're trained to say contact manager, right? So yeah. Contactmapping.com /free. And guys, it is a great program. Get it today.
Yeah, I love you, man. This is so cool. And here's the deal. We don't charge for this show. The commercials are abysmal, and all I do is try to slop through it so I can get back when Adrian's back here next Monday, so I don't get in trouble. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You don't have to be a magician. You don't have to be hip, slick, and cool. I want you authentic, vulnerable, and transparent, and you're going to win every time. We're going back to right now. And we're back. It's the Network Marketing Leadership Show. We've got Brad Hager here. This show is sponsored by contactmapping.com /free. Make sure you go take a look at that app. Take a look at the website. You need to own your contacts. That's that simple. Not your company, not salesforce.com, not Facebook, not Twitter, not Clubhouse. You need to own them. And you need them in your possession, because I'm telling you one thing right now, you don't believe this, but it is your greatest asset. So download it as soon as you get off this radio show. We are with Brad Hager. He is one of the best, unbelievable connectors I've ever known in my entire life. And I have been in awe of him so much longer than he'll ever believe. Ever since the day I met him at America West Stadium. No, I'm kidding. We didn't meet that day, but 14 years ago. But Brad, what do you think about multi-level marketing in this world right now? Network marketing, whatever you want to call it. What do you think the future is? How's your business? I know you own a company now. Talk to me about all of that.
Yeah, I think the future is incredible. I would say anybody listening to this show, it's time to go. It's go time, because what's happening right now is going to happen for months and months to come. As we're getting ready, we are not getting ready. We are going into hyperinflation. Only if you saw the report a couple back last week, I believe it was, that we're up 5% over last year in May, and it's going to get worse. And you know the deal is the government's giving out free money. People are not taking jobs, so the restaurants are paying. I was in Hawaii, Tom, and they're offering a $2,000 signing bonus plus $15 an hour to go work at a restaurant and trying to get help. Well, who's going to pay for that? We're going to pay for it when we pay our bill, right? And same thing in grocery stores and everything else. So the inflation is coming. And here's the thing, there's going to be a lot of people needing an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 to satisfy that inflation and still live their same lifestyle. So network marketing, it's always great, but when times are a little tough in the marketplace out there, network target marketing is exceptional, and people are looking. So I would say to you, as far as the future, in the short-term future, the next 6 to 12 months is going to be incredible. But at the same time, folks, as again, you mentioned Clubhouse, we're more in now than ever of working online and shipping products, shipping services, whatever your company is, and more people working from home. And that's one thing that COVID has taught us. The virus has, it's got so many more people working at home. So it's kind of, one of my mentors used to say, you got to cultivate the ground before you plant the seed. COVID kind of cultivated the ground for us, guys, and for people working at home and to getting used to this style of lifestyle, online businesses, working at home, things like that. So network marketing, Tom, I believe the future is as bright as it's ever been. I know a lot of companies, ourselves included, had great months throughout the COVID time. We're exploding. We're launching as we speak, starting to launch into the UK and Europe. We started off here in the US only for the first year or so, and are now starting to launch internationally. So we're looking forward to that. And but yeah, to your point, network marketing, guys, if you've now's the time to draw the line in the sand and go to work. If I'm you, don't take the summer off. Make this the summer of discontent. Make this the summer of, look, I'm going to change my life. So next summer I'm on cruises and vacations and doing the things I want to do, because now is the time. Don't fall in this trap that summertime is slow. I'm telling you right now, people are starting to hurt. They're starting to look around and say, I need some extra money. What can I do? How can I make an extra 300, 500,000, 2,000 a month? So it's out there right now. It's a perfect timing.
Al Bala from Manatech, unbelievable student of the profession. Never seen a CEO of a huge company out there in the field with the reps like Al Bala. And he came back from the DSA, said 14% is the number that the profession is up. 14%. I mean, that is a huge number. Then you take a look at what's going on out there, and everybody's all pissed off about all these people that aren't going back to work because they make more money not working than they did working. So if they're driving Uber, they're not. I don't blame them in the slightest. That doesn't mean they're lazy. That means they're smart. But I will tell you, if they're not building a side income while they're home, they're out of their minds. So I don't think they're lazy. I think they're smart. But I don't want them home just picking the posies. Go grab this opportunity called network marketing right now. You're getting used to working from home. You find that you love it. You're working on your own terms or not working on your own terms. Replicate it in this profession and own your life, right?
Absolutely. Again, that's very well put. Again, if you're, getting the free money, again, take it, but spend this time to learn a new methodology, to learn a new skill, to learn a new trade, i.e. network marketing. Because guys, what if COVID hits again? And at some point, maybe the money stays, maybe it doesn't, right? You'd say how long it took to even get it rolling this time. So, the thing is, guys, this is the future. Home-based businesses is thriving more now than ever. It's going to be the future. So learn a new skill, learn a new trade, a new mechanism to make money, and you'll be glad you did. And it's there. It's ready. It's exploding. It's ready for you to be a part of it if you're not in it already.
Is the only place that I've got a telemonitor over here, and people are hitting it like it's going out of style. Is the only place that you do generic training is on Clubhouse, or do you do something someplace else where people can plug into your unbelievable vibe and wisdom and get rid of Tom Chenault?
Well, I can't do it without you, Tom. Got to have you, brother. Yeah, most of what I do is on Clubhouse. From time to time, I'll put on Facebook that I'm going to do something generic, but I do most of it on Clubhouse there, because otherwise I spend, as an owner, I spend most of my time working with our group and our team, because that's kind of who we're responsible for, right? And so we spend most of the time training in depth and more specific to them. But then again, catch me on Clubhouse there. Is probably the second best way to, or the best way for generic type trainings.
So I got it on the screen right now. Anand Shathi is in Mumbai, India. He's here every week on the show. He sets his alarm middle of the night because he is one smart son of a gun that understands the value of learning from masters like Brad and going out there and putting it into his business in India. I love the guy. I love anybody with that kind of inner drive where they recognize there's something out there that they want. I was just in some country just off the coast of Africa the other day on a Zoom, Mataricha or something like that. And it was so I go into there and I don't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be completely cornball. It was unbelievable. It was a John Maxwell leadership group, and they invited everybody that was of economic ambition and potential into this crowd. It was hundreds of people on a Zoom, dressed to the nine. I was the underdressed guy of all time. Everybody paying attention. I am telling you, this profession is going to change the world, and it's going to be for the better that we're changing it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I want to speak to that just for a second. When I want to go back to, you mentioned Clubhouse there a couple of times here, and guys, if you're sitting here listening to this show, and just by chance, if you're saying, "Oh, my business is not growing where I can't find people aren't motivated," because sometimes you get down on people, right? But I can tell you, folks, one thing that inspired me, Tom, we talked about Clubhouse, is you get on Clubhouse and it's 2 or 3 in the morning, right? And there's 300, 400, 500 people in your room. And you're doing coaching and you're doing mentoring. My very first room I ever did, I was planning on doing it for a few hours. I started at like 8 o'clock on a Friday night or whatever day. I think it's Friday, whatever day it was. And the crowd continued to grow and it went to 300, 500, 600. So I was going to shut that down. Then I have a friend of mine that starts a room at 7 a.m. my time. So I'm up all night doing this room, hadn't even gone to bed. And I'm going to shut the room down at 7 a.m. my time. And around 6:30, the room peaks at 1,700 people. I'm like, I can't shut this room down, 1,700 people. But it was 300 to 500, 800, 600, 700, 1,700. So I run the room all the way up for 22 hours. And I finally said, okay, I got to get some sleep and shut it down. But the point I'm making here is, folks, people are hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for opportunity. They're hungry for insight. And that just gave me so much encouragement and belief in people that, you may, for people to be on 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 people and up to 1,700 people on just listening, trying to grab knowledge, taking notes, and all hours of the day and night. So that I'm just kind of echoing what you're already talking about, Tom, is this is an amazing profession. People are hungry. They're starving for knowledge. They're starving for opportunity. Grab it, run with it. And this is not about promoting Clubhouse. It's just about just to give you an example of people that want to learn. They want to grow. So if you'll get out and lead and deliver the information about your company, your product, your business building, et cetera, that was just one room, Tom, of I guess dozens and dozens going on at that same hours, tens of thousands of people at 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning saying, teach me, right? So don't ever think that people aren't willing to learn. Maybe again, we got to go back to those things we talked about earlier, trust and competence and vision and inspiration. But if you got those 4 working for you, then you'll find people following you even at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, because there's so many people that want more out of life. Yeah.
And you guys, you might as well understand you're in a global business and there's no time zones. And people think old people sleep all the time. I'm telling you, we don't. We never sleep. So I'm on those rooms you're in the middle of the night all the time. So I'm watching people like you. I'm watching that Carla. She sells the necklace. She starts at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
It's unbelievable what these people are doing literally around the clock. I watch Nate Forrest. I watch Chow, and I watch these people like you and Haley. And it just inspires me so much, because if you're doing it, I should be doing it. If you want to be successful, do what successful people do. And these guys have cracked the code, and you are filling your pipeline, not only in your Rolodex, but in your business, with all those people coming there for free to hear your wisdom, and then finding you off Facebook, off of Clubhouse, to continue the conversation. All you can learn from that. And that's all I do. Correct or not?
Yeah, that old saying, your network is your net worth, and all you're doing is, you can't outgive the giver. And that's what we're talking about here is, giving away your knowledge, give away your insight, give away some of your time there. And all of a sudden it starts coming back. You start now building your network. And as we talked about, you want to take the network off of Facebook. You want to take the network off of Instagram, and you want to get them into your phone and get them into your contact mapping and so forth. So you want to get them off. And because again, if Facebook ever crashed, if Instagram ever crashed or went down or banned you like they did Donald Trump, where's your contacts, right?
Trump loses 80 million people.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep.
Paralyzed.
Yep. So it's not enough to have a friend on Facebook or a follower on Clubhouse or Instagram. Take them and start networking with them, because that's when they become your network, when they come from just a status, if you will, of a follower or someone who likes, but into now you're starting to network with them and giving them some value. You'll be amazed whether today or 3 years from now or 3 months from now, where they reconnect with you, or they say, hey, you're always kind, you're always nice, you always gave me value, I want to do business with you now, or I want to buy your product, or I want to be part of what you're doing. So it's just amazing how, again, build your network. It will create your net worth.
People don't buy it. They buy you.
Yep.
Face that fact. We're coming back right after this for the final segment with the one and only Brad Hager. Sorry about the cough. All right. Contact mapping. There's the coffee shop interview right there. This book is a bestseller on Amazon, and it's not even a book. It's a brochure, but it's a hell of a brochure. So I'm telling you, don't go to Amazon. All you get out of that is paper, and you have to pay $7 or something like that. That's insanity. Go to contactmapping.com/CSI, and we'll give you this book for free. And the 10 Commandments, I was thinking the entire time, I wrote 10 Commandments when I wrote this book, but my son and Jason knocked it down to 6 because the other 4 were obviously boring. And I just noticed that when I opened up the book a couple of days ago. You're not the center of the universe. Other people are. Number 2, paying attention to other people's lives is the secret to success. Number 3, in conversation, it's far better to be interested than interesting. I stole that from Tim Sales. Number 4, consciously move the emphasis from what's in it for you to what's in it for them. Number 5, the more you contribute to the lives of others, the more will be given to you. And number 6, the final one, in every meaningful interaction, resolve that the other person will leave feeling better about themselves than when they arrived. Everybody. That's homeless people. That's bums. That's drug addicts. That's waitresses. Everybody, for 2 reasons. Number 1, you're going to be a good human being. You are giving back constantly at the lowest common denominator, and every one of those people knows somebody. So stop being so arrogant, and all these people that tell you just to recruit up and forget all the people down there. I'll tell you what, I've never seen more trouble in my life than those hotshot friends of mine that forgot where they came from and crashed right back there. Remember and love everybody, right, Brad?
Absolutely, guys. I mean, what a great time, and just because you're right. I mean, we're all, look, even a Brad Hager, a Tom Chenault started somewhere, right? We were a nobody before we became somebody in this industry. And so we all start with somewhere. I always talk about whether your company's diamonds or 5 stars or 10 stars, they weren't born, they were developed. So you find a diamond and you create that person, if that's what your ranks are. But love them all, find them, and care enough to confront their situation with them. I love that. I think it was number 5. I always talk about everybody. We all listen to the same radio station, WIFM, What's in It for Me. Yep. And that's how you want to talk to people. You want to remember the things about them and follow up with them and build those relationships.
And stay in the game. I mentioned Al Bala. I think about Brad out there leading his field from the front. I think about Armin Payot over at Vita Divina doing the same thing. And maybe even Zwagel over there at the hemp deal. But, you see these people in the game every day, and it warms my heart versus being even though they can afford to be in the ivory tower, being in the trenches with the teams, no matter how rich you get, is what you're going to do. Right, Brad?
Absolutely, guys. I mean, to me, that's when you start to abide in this industry, when you start to love it. One of my greatest wishes for everyone, and that's happiness is he who works and plays and doesn't know the difference. And I think when you find that spot in network marketing, you don't go to the ivory tower. You just love the game you're in, and you don't. People ask me, well, what do you do for fun? I work the business. Well, but really, what do you do? I talk to Tom, I talk to John, I talk to Mary. I do a three-way. I share the plan. I love this business. That's what I do for fun. And I don't know there's any more fun thing we can do than what we're doing here today, instructing and helping and coaching people and sharing with them how to make their life better. So again, my wish for you, happiness is he works and plays and doesn't know the difference. And I hope that you all find that.
That is perfect. We have screwed up the break yet one more time. Stick around one sec. And we're back for the final segment with Brad Hager. And the next week we got Sherry Wheeler. And none of you have ever heard of her. Mark Victor Hansen hooked me up with her. And he said, if you want to talk to Jack Canfield, you got to go through this woman. So I said, fine with that. I call her on the phone. And as usual, that person in the middle probably is bigger than the guy I was trying to get to. This woman is going to change your life. She is power beyond belief. You've never heard of her, which makes me happy, but you're going to hear from her next week. She's been around a long, long time. She's a force to be reckoned with, and you're going to love the show next week. So get ready for that. But today, we've got Brad Hager. You've got to find him on Clubhouse, on Facebook, somewhere, and follow this guy. Because he's been around, he's in the game every day. He is relevant. He's paying attention. Do you know Doug Firebaugh?
I do.
Don't you love the fact that Firebaugh has come back to life in Clubhouse?
Oh, yeah. He's amazing, man. I just love that guy. Absolutely. You got to follow him if you're on Clubhouse or, again, Instagram or Facebook for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And the name of the game, all of us, we got to contribute. And if you wonder how Brad Hager does it, he does it because he gives more than he gets. And that's the entire philosophy. Before we go, I want to talk about your wife a little bit because I love her. And when I first met her, I was blown away. I heard her story. I know how strong she's been in network marketing forever, that you married her. You guys exemplify 1 + 1 = 10, don't you?
Absolutely. You talk about a lady with power and skill and grace, and a lot of people call her the Swan because she's so graceful and pretty and elegant. But then down below, she's how those duck feet are going just like crazy. You can just see her going across the water as a nice swan, if you will. But then under, she's I like to say as we say in the South, she's strong as a garlic milkshake. So she's got a wealth of background. She owned a network marketing company for over a decade. Her and her ex-husband, when I met her, that's how we met. And since then, we've built a number of businesses. We've built collectively 5 different 7 to 9 figure businesses through the years. And about I guess a couple years ago now, we started into pre-launch and just recently officially launched our own company together. So she's back into ownership again, and I don't know if she ever thought she wanted to own a company again, but we are, and just an unbelievable networker. Especially she's doesn't quite enjoy the forefront as much as probably you and I do, Tom, as far as doing things like this, but just a skilled talent, and especially working with people on the phone and coaching and such as that. So just amazing. So blessed to have a partnership like that, not only in the home but in the business as well. So we like to say in network marketing, network marketing won't make a bad marriage good, but it'll make a good marriage great, right? So a lot of truth to that. So you're working together, so it can and work for some common goals. So yeah,
I agree with that, man, and I've got massive respect for that too. I'm in a real good marriage and a real good partnership with Denise, and it takes time and it takes work because you're around each other 24 hours a day, and that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. But I'll tell you one thing right now, I've never regretted a minute of being with her. I know you're the same way. I knew that Leroy Cox guy that the previous company owner from so many years ago. He was a Denver guy. And so, yeah, I've tracked you both forever in unbelievable awe of the way that you've done things. And I just want to thank you for coming on, because it's an honor to have you. I mean, you are a absolute icon, and you haven't slowed down an iota. Eric Worre, I gave him $10,000 a few years ago to show me how to retire out of network marketing. And I got all the way to Vegas, and he looked me in the eye and said, "You aren't going anywhere," because of the quote that Brad said. And I'm going to have Doug Stair send that to me in a text. Happiness is the one who works and plays and doesn't know the difference. That's it. That's what I want to be when I grow up. That's what you all want to be when you grow up. And it's totally possible, right?
Absolutely, guys. Get focused, have some fun, set some goals, and just keep it lively, keep it fun, and keep growing. I like to say that I don't ever like to be called a human being. I like to be called a human becoming, because that is part of being happy, right? It's being fulfilled and feel like you're growing, like you're again becoming something. And the money's there, but the money is kind of the report card. The money just means, look, if you're making 10,000 a month or you're making 100,000 a month, the person making 100,000 a month just help more people, right? That's the difference, right? Versus the guy to making 10. So if you like helping people, then but that's the report card. It means you become a better leader, a better communicator, better at the follow up, the whole deal. So so draw the line in the sand and say, I'm not going no longer. Don't ever call me a human being. Call me a human becoming, because I'm becoming to the next level, and that's what's going to create that drive and that fulfillment and that happiness.
The common denominator between a Brad, between a Mark Victor Hansen, a Bob Bodine, a Harvey McKay, and you can go on and on and on about all these people. It's the quality of their friendships. He talked about it earlier. The BLTSs is what I call them. People, to do whatever you want them to do, they've got to feel like they belong in your tribe. They've got to feel like you love them. They've got to feel like they can trust you, and they've got to feel like they're safe with you. And if that's the case, an icon like Brad Hager will come on a lumpy radio show with Tom Chenault for absolutely no reason other than the fact that he and I have the BLTSs together. Yep. I would do anything for him. I love you very much. Thank you, Brad. It was a great show.
Well, thank you, Tom. It's such an honor. I love and appreciate you. And Denise, thank you for having me. You guys are you're the icons. You're the legends. You're the people that we all look up to. And I like to say you're the straw that stirs the drink. You keep this thing called network marketing, the Eric Worres, a number of you guys, that just kind of keep this thing moving for all of us. And so my hat's off. I salute you. My hat's off to you and everything that you're doing for all of us. So appreciate you. Love you. And again, thanks for having me on. It's such an honor.
See y'all next week. Love you.